Hey, welcome to the Unshakable Edge, the podcast for those who refuse to settle. I'm your host, Joe Warren, and if you're ready to master discipline, strengthen your mindset, and gain the edge in every area of your life, this is your home. Each episode delivers powerful insights on resilience, growth, and success, helping you take control of your life, take action, and build an unshakable life. Let's dive into this week's episode and sharpen your edge today. Last episode, we exposed 5 people who might be silently sabotaging your growth. Now, avoiding the wrong people isn't quite enough. If you want to win, if you want to live a life that is unshakable, you need the right voices that are in your corner. Because the future isn't just shaped by the hustle of your work. It really is shaped by your circle. So today I want to talk about 5 people you need in your life to rise to the occasion, to grow, and to step into who you were made to be. For years, I have worked in the nonprofit space, pouring myself out for others. But if I'm honest, many a times I felt deeply alone. I didn't have many people in my circle. No one to really talk to about the struggles I was dealing with. No one to really celebrate the wins with, at least not anyone who truly understood what I was carrying. Now, every now and then I would connect with a person and I'd think, man, maybe this is the start of a real friendship, a real great relationship. But then something would happen, that connection would fade, and I'd go right back into feeling in isolation. Then about 7 years ago, I met a guy who led a network of nonprofit leaders who were doing work just like mine. He shared systems, strategies, models, but what really caught my attention most wasn't really the tools, it was the relationships that were in this network. I remember thinking, that is what I need. Not just ideas, but I need people. And so I joined this network shortly after that. And let me tell you, what a game changer. Honestly, it saved me. And I finally had a place to belong. A circle of people who understood the late nights, the tight budgets, the emotional toll, the moments of wondering, man, is this work even worth it? Now, over time, these people, listen, they are more than just peers. They have become like family. They're there when I'm low to lift me up. They're there when I'm winning to celebrate with me. And they're there even when I get comfortable and challenge me to grow to become more than I thought possible. And so that's what today's episode is all about. The people who push you forward, pull you up, and walk beside you. It's the 5 people you need in your life to win. A while after I had joined this network and finally started feeling supported again, things were going really good. And I found myself, I was having lunch with a friend of mine. His name's Kurt, and sharp businessman who I truly respect a lot. And we're just at lunch, we're talking business, we're talking work, and some other ideas we'd been kicking around. Nothing too serious, just one of those honest, open conversations that really make you think a bit deeper than you normally do. And at one point, out of nowhere, Kurt looked at me and asked, have you ever thought about starting a podcast? And I kind of shrugged and I said, yeah, I've given it some thought, nothing too serious, just kind of some thoughts I had every now and again. And that's when he actually challenged me. He said, you should start it. You should do it. You've got a voice that people need to hear. What you're carrying could really help people, but not if you keep it to yourself. And that's when it hit me. Not because he was trying to hype me up or say good things about me, but he was calling something out of me that I hadn't given myself permission to act on. That moment was the push that I needed. And that conversation became really the spark of the Unshakable Edge podcast. Now, sometimes it just takes one person to believe in you loud enough to drown out your own excuses. A friend, Zig Ziglar said, a friend is someone who sees more potential in you than you see in yourself and is willing to help you see it too. And that's what the challenger does. They don't just let you coast. They don't just let your someday stay on the shelf. They call you into action, even when it's uncomfortable, because they see what you're capable of. And so I want you to ask yourself this question. Who is your Kurt? Who is the person that isn't afraid to challenge you because they believe in all you were meant to be? And then maybe ask yourself this question as well. Who is waiting on you to be that voice in their life? Now, if the challenger pushes you to take action, this next person, the encourager, reminds you why you started and that you've got what it takes to keep going. They're not loud, they're not flashy, but when self-doubt begins to creep in, when you feel like a fraud or an imposter, or when your voice in your head is screaming, you're not enough, they show up. They speak in your life. They breathe belief into places where you started to lose it. I love what George M. Adams said. He said, encouragement is like oxygen to the soul. Now, I remember after launching this podcast, I hit a moment where I felt a little unsure. I wasn't quite exactly convinced that this was going to work, that people were actually going to listen and get value out of this. I'd been putting in the time and the effort, but I started wondering, is this really helping anyone? Is this worth all the energy that I'm giving it? And that's when I reached out to some guys from our network. I talked to a guy, Bobby, and another one, Andy, and Brad, and Corey. And listen, each one of them in their own way spoke life to me in those moments. They reminded me that, hey, you may not see all the impact, but you got to do this. They affirmed the calling that sometimes feels quiet. Listen, they were like oxygen, breathing encouragement into the places where my confidence was running a little thin. They didn't hype me up with empty praise. They just believed in me when I needed it the most. And that's what the encourager does. They don't let your confidence bleed out quietly. They remind you that your effort matters, your voice matters, that you matter. Now, before I go on, I just want to take a moment to thank each one of them, to thank Bobby and Andy and Brad and Corey. Listen, your words of encouragement are the reason that I made it past episode 1. I know that seems a little silly, but you're the reason. You remind me that the work is worth it and that I was worth it. And so I want to speak something back to you. You as well, Bobby and Andy and Brad and Corey, you got what it takes to make your dreams come true as well. Just like you believed in me, I believe in you. Now that brings me to the third person you need in your life to win. Someone who doesn't just encourage you in the present, but guides you towards your future. Let's talk about the mentor. If the encourager lifts your head, the mentor then lights your path. This is the person who's walked where you're trying to go. They don't just offer advice, they offer perspective. They've fought the battles, made the mistakes, navigated the pressure, and they're willing to pass the torch on so you don't have to learn it all the hard way. A smart person learns from their mistakes, someone said, but a wise person learns from someone else's mistakes. So mentors don't just shape your skills, they really shape your perspective. An example of this was the relationship between the late Steve Jobs from Apple and Mark Zuckerberg, the creator of Facebook. Now, back in Facebook's early days, when things were getting messy and uncertain, Zuckerberg was under immense pressure. People were telling him to sell the company. The company was growing fast, and he was overwhelmed and unsure of the future. So he turned to someone who had been there before, Steve Jobs. And instead of giving him a business plan or a 10-step strategy, Jobs gave him something deeper than that. He said, you need to get away. You need to step away and go find clarity. Exactly what Zuckerberg did. He spent nearly a month off-grid thinking, reflecting, and getting recentered. Not on code, not on investors, but on mission. In Zuckerberg's own words, he said that Steve told me in order to build something great, you have to care about more than just the product. You have to care about the mission behind it. And that's what great mentors do. They don't just speak into your actions. They don't just give you strategies and plans. They speak into your alignment, your why, the mission behind what you're doing. They help you see the long game when you're stuck in the fog of the moment. They don't just teach you how to succeed. Mentors help you remember why you started in the first place. And so ask yourself the question, who are the mentors in your life? Who are the people that are speaking into your life to give you clarity, to give you perspective? Yes, to give you strategies and plans and things to help you along the way. But those that are really honing in on where are you going? Why are you doing what you're doing? And allowing you to see from a different perspective, someone that's already been there, someone that has made the mistakes and doesn't want you to make the same. Then the fourth person that you need in your life to win is the collaborator. They're the one that is walking with you. The mentor helps you see the path. The collaborator is walking side by side with you. This is the person that's not one step ahead, not one step behind. They're right there beside you, sleeves rolled up, building alongside you. They don't just brainstorm with you. They don't just cheer from the sidelines. They are showing up day after day in the trenches with you. There's an African proverb that says this: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. There's a special kind of strength that comes when you're doing life and work with someone who shares the same vision with you, that carries the weight with you. There's a classic real world example about a guy by the name of Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield. Two childhood friends who, by all accounts, shouldn't have probably been successful. They weren't business experts. They didn't have a detailed plan. All they had was a $5 correspondence course on how to make ice cream. Now, I love ice cream, so this story really piqued my interest. And so they had learned how to make ice cream, and they had a belief that they could create something fun, meaningful, and different. They started with one shop in Burlington, Vermont. Just two friends making ice cream together. But what made it work wasn't just the product, it was the partnership that they had. They had different strengths. Ben was the creative, the big picture dreamer, and Jerry was the grounded, steady one who paid attention to the process. They balanced each other out wonderfully. And when things got hard, and they did, they stayed together in it. Today, Ben and Jerry's ice cream isn't just a global brand, it's a legacy of collaboration, values, and a shared passion of two people collaborating, two friends who said, let's build this together. And that's what the collaborator brings to your life. It's not just a shared vision, but it is shared effort. It's not just ideas, but it's execution. This is the person who challenges and champions you at the same time. The one who makes the grind less lonely and the wins more meaningful. So ask yourself in your life, who's the collaborator with you? Who is the one that you are building with? You're not just dreaming with, but you're both putting forth effort towards a common mission, a common purpose. Now, if you don't have that person yet, what would it look like to invite someone into your circle to help you to walk side by side with you? Because winning alone is possible, but it's not sustainable. So you need a collaborator in your life. Let's bring it home with the final person, the truth teller. We've talked about people who push you, encourage you, guide you, and build with you, but none of them matter if you don't have someone who will tell you the truth, even when it's hard to hear. The truth teller is the one who loves you too much to lie to you. They're not rude, they're not harsh, they are just real. They're the person who looks you in the eye and says, you're drifting, you're playing it small, you're going comfortable, you're going soft, you're not being honest with yourself right now. And it's not judgment, it's love with a backbone. I love this proverb that says, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of the enemy are deceitful. We need that person in our lives that is willing to get in our face and tell us the truth, regardless of how it makes us feel, regardless of whether we want to hear it or not. We've got to have that voice in our circle that's saying, hey, you're going off track. You're not doing the right things. You shouldn't be doing these things. These things are harmful for you. These are the things that you need to get back to. That's the person that I'm telling you will create tremendous value in your life. They're not going to be the ones that are always blowing smoke at you, the ones that are always making you feel good and nice and fuzzy on the inside. They're the ones that you need, whether you like it or not, that bring you back to reality and help propel you towards where you're going. Listen, everyone wants cheerleaders in their life. But if you want to grow, you've got to have mirrors. People who reflect what's real, not what's just comfortable. If all of your friends only affirm you, then they're not really friends. They're fans. And fans, listen, fans disappear when the show gets rough. And so ask yourself this question. Who in your life has the courage to tell you the truth? Gently, firmly, and with love. And maybe more importantly, are you willing to listen when they do? When they tell you the things that you need to hear, but you really don't want to hear them. Because it really makes you feel not so good inside. You've got to have a truth teller in your circle. Well, now we've met all 5 people that you really need in your life to win. You've got the challenger who pushes you to rise up. You've got the encourager who lifts you up, breathes oxygen into your life when you're doubting. You've got the mentor who's guiding you with wisdom. The collaborator who builds with you side by side, with you every step of the way. And then last but not least, you have the truth teller who speaks what you need to hear. Listen, you don't need a crowd. You just need the right 5 people. So here's my challenge to you today. Take inventory of your circle. Reach out and thank the people who've been the voices in your life. And if you're missing one, start looking. You want to win at life, growth, and purpose? You can't do it alone. Well, hey, that's it for this episode of the Unshakable Edge. Listen, if this resonated with you, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, stay focused, stay disciplined,